Guess who's back? Back again. Trump is back. Tell a friend. Guess who's back? 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 Bing 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 bing. I'll create a monster, cause nobody wants to see Biden no more. They want Trump. I'm John Liver. Well, if you want Trump, this is what I'll give you. A little bit of weed mixed with some hard liquor. Some vodka that'll jumpstart my heart quicker than a shot when I get shot at the hospital by the doctor. When I'm not cooperating, when I'm rocking the table, well, he's operating. You ain't in this womb, now stop debating, cause I'm back, I'm on the reg and ovulating. I know that you got a job, Miss Pelosi, but your husband's heart problem's complicating. So the FCC won't let me be, or let me be me, so let me see. They try to shut me down on my Twitter, but it feels so empty without me. So come on, thumb on your lips, that, thumb on your lips, and some tits, and get ready, cause this shit's about to get heavy. Just settle all my lawsuits. Fuck you, Nancy! This looks like a job for me, so everybody just follow me, cause we need a little controversy, cause it feels so empty without me. I said, this looks like a job for me, so everybody just follow me, cause we need a little controversy, cause it feels so empty without me.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome into CobraCast 199. I am your host, Jeremy Prime, Mage IDOT of the 199, and I'm happy to see all of you here today. I said I would go live, and I am. Here we are, live and ready to rock and roll. Hope everybody's doing well. We have, looks like we got some Elon Musk interviews dropping right now that he did. So we're going to be looking into that here in just a minute. It looks like a Fox News interview with Elon and his DOGE peeps, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know if the full interview has been uploaded yet. But hopefully we can find more out about that. I'm looking for it now to see if there's a full clip. That's like a minute 50. It's like a bunch of small clips right now that I have bookmarked. But anyway, how's everybody doing on this wonderful Thursday? We currently have a lot going on at Geeks and Gamers. We have, well, first we did the Nintendo Switch 2 Direct today, or sorry, the Nintendo Switch Direct today over on Geeks and Gamers Play. Then we had Geeks and Gamers Daily. Now we have a locals stream going on covering opening day of Major League Baseball, and we have CobraCast. So you've got a lot of content out there, and I hope you guys are enjoying that. And trying to see, we have mods here. They always get mad at me if I don't mention them. So mod lives matter. Okay. The mods are here and we love the mods. Okay. Fantastic Snuck says these Ghiblified, these Ghiblified of Trump and others are so wholesome, especially the ones of him and Abe. Anyway, good day, Jeremy in chat. What's cracking? Yeah, they're all over the internet. It's everywhere. I can't get away from it. So yeah, you might as well just have fun with it, right? Alex McCarthy says enter code RK Outpost over on metapcs.com, or you can use the promo code 199. All right, don't listen to Beardo or Steph or Krista, okay, or Mike, no, or Ryan. Listen to me, okay? I created all this. You should be listening to me. So let's see here. Vlad says, a working man movie, very good, 8 out of 10, especially if you have a daughter. Jason Statham, the man. Thank you, Vlad. Appreciate that. East Coast Toasted Boy says, RKKK Outpost, actually. There we go. Okay. So there we go. Thank you guys for being here. So let's look at some of the, I just see this right here that just hit my feed. So Elon Musk doing an interview right here. I do like how, I gotta say, it is super cringe to me that somebody takes a clip from Fox News And because they uploaded it to X, they think that they should they should watermark it with their @ It's not your fucking content. That is so gay. So because you screen recorded it from Fox News, suddenly you're going to put your @ on there? That is mega gay and mega cringe. Holy shit. It's not your content. You literally just hit screen record on it, but yet you decided to put your @ on it. Wow. Anyway, let's listen to what Elon Musk has to say right here.
We learned 40% of the phone calls that they get are from fraudsters.
40%.
That's right. Almost half.
Yes, and they steal people's social security is what happens. Is they call in, they say they claim to be a retiree, then they convince the social security person on the phone to change where the money's flowing. It actually goes to some fraudster. This is happening all day, every day, and then somebody doesn't receive their social security. It's because of all the fraud loopholes in the social security system.
How do you reassure people that what you all are doing is not going to affect their benefits?
No, in fact, what we're doing will help their benefits. Legitimate people, as a result of the work of DOGE, will receive more social security, not less. I want to emphasize that. As a result of the work of DOGE,
using news as content is bad. How did I say that? What has Nick Sotoro, whatever his name is, what has he done to transform this content into for him to watermark it? What has he added to it? Has he added any commentary at all? Has he added anything outside of him screen recording it? But yet he's going to put his @ on it. It's absolutely ridiculous. That's the definition of trying to steal someone's content, what he's doing. And I'm no fan. I'm not sitting here saying I'm a friend of Fox News, but the fact that he decided to put his handle on there as that he created the content is absolutely hilarious.
legitimate recipients of Social Security will receive more money, not less money.
All right.
I want to emphasize that point and let the record show that I said this, and it will be proven out to be true. Let's check back on this in the future.
So Washington Post, the Social Security Administration website crashed 4 times in 10 days this month because the servers were over.
So in terms of like all of this, now I've heard over and over again that Elon Musk and DOGE are not doing anything. I've also heard from critics of President Trump that, well, what are they doing? Trump's not doing anything. If Trump's not doing anything, why are so many rogue judges out there limiting the things that he can do or trying to reverse the things that he can do? You can't have it both ways. If Trump's not doing anything, then why are the judges trying to reverse so many things that he's doing? Why is that happening? So on one hand, you have the critics of Trump and Elon saying, well, they're not doing anything. And on the other hand, you have leftist judges trying to reverse what they're doing. So how are these leftist judges reversing the things that Trump and Elon are doing if they're not actually doing anything? Pretty interesting question. So the next time you hear some clown say that these guys aren't doing anything, then go, well, then why are these leftist judges, what are they reversing if Trump's not doing anything? And this is the same thing that happened in Trump's first administration, constantly dealing with these rogue judges and the court system and the Democrats and people blocking all of that. So the criticisms I see is absolutely insane. And there's a lot of these clips right now with Elon. I wish we could just get the whole interview uploaded somewhere. But I guess people that are on Twitter wouldn't be able to put clips out there with their handle just so they could get more traction, I guess. Monetizing Twitter is seriously one of the most annoying things I've seen. But with that said, it is better than the previous version of Twitter. I will say that much. Now, here's ALX. Now, ALX didn't put his handle on it, so I'm not sure how I'm supposed to give him credit for screen recording it. But either way, right here. So Elon Musk is talking about people that are committing violence, firebombing Tesla dealerships, shooting guns into stores, threatening people. They are being fed propaganda by the far left. Let's listen.
You don't have to be here. You don't have to be here. You know, there's now been these many cases of violence and vandalism at Tesla dealerships. How does that affect your employees, your customers? What does it mean to you? Like, how have you taken that in?
Well, I think a great wrong is being done to the people of Tesla and to our customers. I mean, Tesla is a peaceful company that has made great cars, great products. That's all it's done. Hasn't harmed anyone. And yet people are committing violence. They're firebombing Tesla dealerships. They're shooting guns into stores. They're threatening people. They're issuing death threats against me and other Tesla personnel. What are they doing this for? Why? And what's happening, it seems to me, is they're being fed propaganda by the far left. And they believe it. It's really unfortunate. But the real problem is not the people. It's not like the crazy guy that firebombs a Tesla dealership. It's the people pushing the propaganda that caused that guy to do it. Those are the real villains here, and we're going to go after them. And the president's made it clear we're going to go after them. The ones providing the money.
To an extent, but yes, the media is 100% to blame with their lies and their bullshit, but you still can't take the responsibility off of the individual that is doing the actions as well. They do not get a pass, and they should not get a pass. It's that argument, and again, I know what Elon is saying, and he's right, but I'm just saying we can't fall too far into that argument, because is it the gun that's creating the violence, or is it the person that's pulling the trigger? It's the person that's pulling the trigger. So the individual still has to be held responsible to the max. Now, you can still hold the media responsible for their lies, but let's not take the responsibility out of the individual's hands, because if that person is stupid enough to listen to lies, then he's always going to be stupid enough to listen to lies. Always. So it's always the individual that needs to be held responsible to the max. 1,000%. Now, you want to hear about some of the danger of those lies? I saw this clip right here. Now, we heard Joe Rogan make this comment before, but this is truly, like, this is how dangerous the lies of the left and evil politicians have become. Because I guarantee you, everybody in this chat has had an interaction, whether it be online or in real life, with someone that believed the good people on both sides lie. I guarantee you every single person in this chat has had some type of interaction with someone that believed that bullshit. And I saw this video right here talking about it right here.
Obama, when you told this lie, you lost one of your biggest supporters, Joe Rogan.
Obama, during this Kamala Harris administration, it changed my opinion of that guy. But watching him just straight up lie about Trump, the thing that got me was that very fine people thing, the white supremacist thing. They just kept trying to say that he was a racist.
Now that, I'm sure you all have heard that BS so many times. And yes, Bittersweet Symphony. I hope they don't actually hit me for that song. So that's why I'm going to have to pause it and make it transformative. Unlike the guy on Twitter who just slaps his logo on whatever he screen records. Yeah, here we go.
Why would you place your faith in somebody who said that there were very fine people on both sides of a white supremacist rally?
If they go an extra sentence, they will see it was perfect. But you also had people that were very fine people on both sides.
And that's where they cut it. But listen to the very next sentence.
And I'm not talking about the neo-Nazis and the white nationalists, because they should be condemned totally.
Obama lied, and he knew it was a lie, and every single Democrat that has run with that knew they were lying. Now you have low IQ individuals on social media that have continued to repeat that lie because they don't want to do the slightest bit of research, because they are very stupid people. And so there you go. That's the end of it right there. So Obama lied even when he knew it was a lie. And that's when he lost Joe Rogan. And I mean, on one hand, and I think it's really like Joe Rogan follows a lot of stuff. And ultimately, Joe Rogan saw the light at the end of the campaign, which I'm very thankful for, because I do think that it made a huge difference in things, along with so many other pieces to the puzzle, whether it was Elon Musk and all these other situations. But it's like, how did it take you that long, Joe Rogan? And I'm not criticizing Joe for this. I'm just asking a genuine question. How did it take you that long to realize Obama was a horrible human being? I mean, it took me a few years, but his second term was pretty obvious how bad of a person he was and how much damage he was doing to the United States of America. But that's neither here nor there. The bottom line is, at least Joe Rogan figured it out. That's the bottom line on it. So I thought that was a really good clip. And, I'm glad that I found that one, because that bullshit has been spread so much. And it's one of the many that has been spread over and over again by leftist media and all of this. So let me see where we're at here. Hello, everyone. Vault 95 says, how many skip their FAP session to watch CobraCast? I don't know if I want to know the answer to that question. I don't want to know the answer to that question. Sulla Felix says, how can these judges be more powerful than Trump? These are the questions I ask myself too. It's really like the court system's in place for checks and balances, but it's so corrupt on the Democratic side. Because I mean, all presidents have faced, some level of this with the court systems, but nobody has faced it to the level that Trump has. And let's see right here. Let's listen to Elon right here.
See on the far left, some efforts to go after electric vehicles. It's quite something.
It is ironic. I mean, it seems like the most ironic outcome is the most likely. But yeah, I mean,
personally, it's got to take a toll.
It does.
Yeah.
It does. I think there's some real evil out there. And we have to overcome it.
I mean, you have been called a Nazi, a white supremacist, a fascist.
I mean, they've got this sort of their
just to
normal
name
playbook.
a few. Yeah.
I mean, they've still got it. They haven't. I guess they still need to call me Stalin, Mussolini, whatever, Genghis Khan, or whatever. I mean, they've called the president all these things. I think at one point there was a magazine cover which said President Trump was worse than Hitler, Mussolini, and Stalin combined. The president hasn't killed anyone. He hasn't started any wars. In fact, he's good at stopping wars. So this is obviously they're pushing these lies. And why do they push these lies? And I think that we need to hold people responsible for pushing these lies, because those lies almost got the president killed.
What's something that people wouldn't know about the president? You're pretty close to him now. You spend a lot of time with him. What's something that people wouldn't know?
I think the president is a good man. I think he is an honest man. And I've yet to see him do anything mean or anything that is wrong, that I would say morally wrong. Not even once.
Protect the Elon Musk at all cost. Golden Nugget says, Letitia James can use me as a chair. Good Lord, stop it. Drew Barr, member messages, thank you. Ehab says, I don't skip my FAP session. Jeremy's a handsome gay man. Oh my God. You guys are crazy. Okay, so we had something interesting happen today. Now, I didn't Google this, but why am I familiar with this Tennessee State Representative Justin Pearson? I feel like I know this name for some reason, and I don't know why. I feel like he's had viral videos in the past or something like that. I'm not sure. But this is kind of crazy right here, okay? So this is like insanity. This is a state representative, and he's an activist. He wants to be Malcolm X. I feel like I saw videos of him. He didn't always have the afro, did he? Did he always have the afro? Let's see. Truck stop regular. He didn't. Okay. So here we go. Listen to this absolute insanity. And we're going to listen to all of it because you need to understand just how insane these losers are. And this guy is an absolute unhinged loser.
The Tennessee House of Representatives. It is a pathetic excuse for you to not answer the question of why we are doing nothing about the gun violence epidemic than to personally attack me. But let me explain to you what I have been doing, Representative, since you asked. My brother
asked. He asked. Since you asked. Let's hear that one more time. Since you asked.
What I have been doing, Representative, since you asked. My brother, Temperance Darnell Pearson, one of the loves of my life, passed away from gun suicide on December 1st of 2024.
Gun self-deletion. So it's the gun's fault. I'm probably not going to say what I really want to say on this particular topic because I'll just do the standard. If you need help, call the suicide hotline. I'm not going to talk about any of that, but that comment was very interesting, to say the least.
And since that happened, it shattered my family like gun violence has shattered so many families. Shattered my nephew's lives, my mother, my father, my other brothers who are remaining. I buried my brother. I planned for his entire funeral. My fiance made his obituary. I made sure that he was taken care of, even in death. That's what I've been doing. But also, not just that, I went to all of my nephew's schools. I met with their principals and their teachers to ensure that they are okay. I gave them and made sure that they had grief counseling and that they're seeing a psychiatrist. That's what I've been doing. And while you're talking about hard work, you need to realize that our job is not just in this state house with these marble floors. Our jobs are on the streets and in the communities that we serve. And so while you've been here passing bills that have been hurting transgender children, while you've been here passing bills that have been hurting the poor, hurting the marginalized, hurting the disenfranchised, while you've been here passing bills that have not ended poverty, while you've been here passing bills that have not helped people who need Medicaid expansion, while you've been here doing the hard work of making sure that our state is not the state that it can be, because you have decided.
Representative Pearson.
Reality of our situation is only to be.
Representative Pearson.
While you've been here doing that, I've been in my community.
Representative Pearson.
He seems a little unhinged. He seems like he can't control his emotions. He seems like he might want to be committing a crime. I don't know. I'm just looking at it. I'm just looking at the situation for what it is.
What I've been doing, hard work doesn't just happen. Witness legislation that happens.
Representative Pearson.
And if you will, Chairman, just one more minute, because Chairman Former seems to think that he somehow
Representative Pearson.
seems to understand my life better than I do. You need to understand that hard work isn't just sitting there and shutting up and passing a bill. It's doing the hard work of justice and love and mercy.
Okay.
And it's taking your
All right.
and your pain and your heartache, and it's standing in front of people who you know may not like you, standing in front of people who you know will disrespect you, people who you know will talk down to you, and saying in the honor of people like my brother, in the honor of people who have died from gun violence, in the honor of people who have died from suicide, we need to pass better laws.
Representative Pearson.
And fight for a state where everybody is able to live more freely from the pain of gun violence that me and my family are experiencing. That's what you need to think about, Chairman Paul. Come on. And if you can't think that, learn to shut up.
All right. All right. Ladies and gentlemen.
Learn to shut up.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, just wait. There's more.
Chairman Farmer.
There's more.
Briefly.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Representative Pearson, it seems that it's very common in your party when you disagree with a comment, and I was not disrespectful to you, that you resort to yelling. Basically, everything you just told me, you just did. I have a family. I've made sacrifices every year. So
Representative Pearson, ladies and gentlemen, we are going, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Representatives, we are, I know this is a very difficult time for you to be back up here. I'm sorry for all the things that you've experienced. You've been a great uncle. You've done the things that you were supposed to do to help your family. I understand that. If I was in the same situation you were in, I would be doing the same thing. I understand.
No,
that.
you wouldn't. No,
Okay,
you
I know
would not.
tensions are high
No, you would not.
up here today.
Quit trying to justify this delusional clown.
But ladies and gentlemen, we're going to do our best to be as civil as we can up here. Okay. And I appreciate that very much. So with that being said, I'm going to go to Leader Lamberth. He was next on my list.
Move previous question on the bill.
Previous question has been called on the bill. We have objection. Okay. We are now voting on previous question. All those in favor of previous question, say aye. Aye. Those opposed? No. The ayes prevail. We are now voting to send House Bill 1392 on to full judiciary.
Just wait.
Does anyone wish to change their vote? Mr. Clerk, take the vote.
Mr. Chairman, you have 2 ayes, 7 nays.
Hey, Representative Pearson, no, sir. No, sir. No.
Don't touch him. Do not touch him. Do not touch him. Do not touch him.
Don't you ever come back to me and my family.
My father is stuck.
But don't you ever
My
kiss
father.
Take care of him, Justin. Come on. Justin. Come on, Justin. You're okay.
The Tennessee.
No other way to beat the stereotypes other than being the stereotype. No other way, I guess, right? Man, don't say we're prone to violence. I'm going to be completely violent. Good Lord, man. What an idiot. What an absolute clown. And everybody's laughing at you. You're a complete loser, and we all know it. And I'm okay with that. I'm okay with everybody laughing at you. So good job. God, what a disaster that was. Where are we at? Let's see here. Force Geek says we're sending at least $40 million a week to Taliban. Sean Ryan talked about it on his podcast. That's our money. Makes it hard to work 9 to 5. I know. I mean, listen, I'm not sure how Trump and Elon plan on dealing with with all the stuff that DOGE is finding right now. I don't know how Trump and Elon, like everything that they're doing with DOGE is making every taxpayer go, why am I paying taxes? You've literally stolen my money for my entire work life. Why am I continuing to pay this in when you are finding all of this fraud? That's what every American taxpayer is asking, which, to be fair, we've always asked that. We've always wondered why we're paying all of these taxes. But now, showing all of this, it's a legitimate, it's more legitimate than it's ever been now, because now you have the top of the government telling you every day, hey, there is billions and billions of dollars of fraud going on. Your tax dollars have been stolen from you for the past however long, many decades it's been happening. So it's just like, well, then why? Why are we continuing to pay this? Yapping Tom says, boys, Trump made America great again. Apparently, Sydney is single now. No more fiance. I can think of 2 big reasons to celebrate. 2 big reasons. That is true. It does look like Sydney Sweeney is now single. Chat, you all have a chance. Chat, she might be watching right now. She might be interested in the person that sends the biggest super chat. She might be. I don't know. It's worth a shot, isn't it? I'm just trying to help you out, okay? Great Tang for a gifted membership. Thank you. Grand Potato. What's up, Grand Potato? Grand Potato. Jeremy, let me ask you a question. Why are you gay? Grand Potato, I have to personally apologize for Beardo being completely retarded on your super chat the other day. So I'm glad you showed up. I was wondering, I was like, this dude's never going to watch us again after Beardo being a complete retard. So thank you, Grand Potato. Vice says, is this the next MLK, but without the ladies of the night part? This is true. This is true. Rye the Guy says, this guy is doing a Malcolm X cosplay. Mike Zero Source says, Justin is suffering emotional damage. I would recommend using the Stephen He meme. Sadist says, Representative Pearson calling in to the sewer side hotline. Hi. Hey, you wearing Nikes? Then I can't fucking read all that. I already got demonetized once on a video. I can't read all that. You got to be careful with those words. YouTube has their bots that gets triggered really easily. Solo Felix says Malcolm X would have called him the house word. Frosty says ghetto AF should be kicked out for good reason. River Miles says Jeremy driving his V8 on a live stream is wholesome fun. Dropping hard R's and F's at bad drivers turns it into a FAP session. Yeah, I am blown away by how much reaction the car videos have created. People get really triggered with me driving down the road in a badass American muscle car and bitching about bad Hollywood movies. It really is amazing. My first video was never intended. I never thought people would get triggered by it. I figured the Disney shills would get triggered about it, but man, there's a lot of people that got triggered over that shit, man. It is wild. But East Coast Toasted Boy says, not even plural. He said axe, singular. The professional ghetto speech. It's dumb. Just about as dumb as a wannabe Southern Baptist preacher on every topic, religious or not. 100%. Let's see. South Wendigo says, hey, Jeremy, please check your email. I sent something very important about the working man. First part of the email is lucky. Noted. Mola Ram says, for 5 gifted memberships. Thank you. Cornboy says this message identifies as a $1,000 super chat. You see that, Sydney Sweeney? Cornboy's winning. Sydney, you're in good shape. Nick Hammerschmidt says Sydney Sweeney being single is bigger news than the Doomsday Cast. Jake Skywalker says, in all seriousness, I hope you and yours are good. Thank you. I appreciate it, Jake Skywalker. Yeah, all is good, man. There's a lot of good things rolling for geeks and gamers. What is this? Oh, that's an old video of what's this Harry Sisson guy, that Harry Sisson loser. By the way, I did see if I can find it. We're always talking about, oh, the ladies are like Jeremy. You're always showing like Sydney Sweeney and all these chicks with boobs and all this stuff. So I got a picture for you guys, or for you girls. So it's right here. It's a meme, but it's an accurate meme. Right there, President Trump. So there is President Trump right there. That is not AI. That is 100% real. That is not AI at all. 6'3", 215 pounds, alpha male. He could be the UFC champion if he wanted to, but he's choosing to make America great again. So there you go. And if you need further proof that that is a real picture, Trump will tell you himself. Okay.
I just feel like a young man. I'm so young. I can't believe it. I'm the youngest person. I am a young, vibrant man. I look at Joe. I don't know about him. I don't know. Macho man, yeah.
A young, I like how he says, I'm the youngest person. I am a young, vibrant man. It's so good. As a matter of fact, I forgot to play this yesterday, and I wish I would not have forgotten. It's not a big deal, but it is funny right here. Yesterday, President Trump, a reporter right here. This is so freaking good.
You know, I haven't seen a mask in so long. You're wearing a mask. So nice of you. I haven't seen anybody wearing a mask in a long time. It's good. You feel more comfortable, right? Good. That's good. So go ahead.
You're wearing a mask. I haven't seen a mask in a long time. So nice of you. He is so on point, dude. I saw that. I'm like, this is the greatest thing I've ever seen. Okay, so check this out. Do you guys remember what was the show? What was the show that Hulk Hogan used to have with his ex-wife? The reality show. Was it like Hogan Knows Best? Was that what it's called? Hogan Knows Best? Am I right about that? Hogan Knows Best. There you go. Thank you. And so him and Linda got a divorce or whatever. And I don't know what's happened with that family or whatever, but I see this video that hits my feed today. And apparently Linda Hogan is back. And she is very, very upset with Hulk Hogan. And she blames Hulk Hogan for all of her problems. Now, look, let's be clear. I like that Hulk Hogan is, supporting Trump. I'm happy that he is at a point in his life where he's, found God and all of that. Historically, Hulk Hogan, Terry Bollea, has been a pretty terrible person in the wrestling industry in terms of he's lied, he's manipulated, no one really likes Hulk Hogan in the wrestling business. They just don't. But you married the biggest wrestling star in the world, Linda Hogan. I don't think it was true love. I think you probably wanted to be married to Hulk Hogan, and that's fine. But now here she is. She's looking pretty rough, boys. Linda Hogan posted a video on Facebook saying her family is a mess and she blames Hulk Hogan. Brooke had a huge fight with Terry. I don't know how that reflected onto me, but she cut me out too. I haven't talked to her in 7 years, almost 8 now. Linda Hogan. Yikes.
That all these horrible things are going on behind the scenes. Yet he marches on. He marches on like, yeah, oh, I'm promoting my own beer, real American beer. Yeah, look at me. Woo! Yeah, he's such a hero, right? Not. Okay, I'm going to give him my thumbs down. I've given him more opportunities to come back and make us a family and try to, I'm sorry, it's so sad.
This is rough, bro. This is rough. Why would you upload this to the internet? Why would you do this?
And it's been 20 years and I'm still this sad. Somebody please explain that. I don't know. It just doesn't get better. I do love living alone. I don't ever want to be married again after him. Trust me. But I love my animals, and my lawyers were in cahoots with his lawyers. They had everything set up where they were cashing in on me. Yeah. Half of my settlement went to lawyers and back into the lawyer pot. And I ended up with hardly anything. I worked for 25 years for free, basically. And then the settlement that Terry got for fucking another friend's wife behind my back.
Isn't that the video where he dropped the N-word? Isn't that the video where am I right about that? That leaked video, isn't that where he dropped the N-word?
Yeah, he got 30 million for that. Yeah. How does that make you feel, right? It's really just not about the money, though.
I really wonder, and the reason I highlighted this is my right or wrong, whether I'm right or whether I'm wrong, my initial response to all of these things, and I would say, I'm not going to say 9 times out of 10. I'm going to say probably 8 times out of 10. 80% of the time, I'm right. What is her political opinion? Does she have strong feelings, negative feelings towards President Trump? That is always and I have not even looked it up, so I don't know the answer. I could be wrong. But what is her opinion of President Trump? I'm just curious.
Oh, is that I've given him the opportunity to try to make things right with my daughter and try to make things right with my son and help him. But yet he's just like, here's a little bone, here's this little chip, here's a little something for you. He treats everybody like they're his ex-wife. Here's a little cookie for you. Here's a little cookie for you. Like, we mean nothing to him. I meant nothing to him, even though I
again, you're not surprised. You tell me Michael Jordan was a douchebag, and I say that makes sense. He's the greatest basketball player of all time. He was an alpha, and he was determined on being the greatest of all time. Usually great men are very, very difficult to deal with because they're not there to be your fucking friend. They're there to be great. Hulk Hogan has been the biggest star in wrestling for decades. Of course he's got an ego. Of course he's treated differently. That's the world that we live in, and that's always how it's been. I've talked about this many times. Look up the old stories about Walt Disney. Walt Disney was ruthless to work for. Look it up. He was a fucking savage to work for because the man demanded greatness. And I guarantee you the Walt Disney Company would be in a lot better shape if we had Walt Disney himself running this company instead of the clowns that are running it now. That is the bottom line on this. You're not shocking anyone by telling us Hulk Hogan's an asshole. Okay. And
earned a $20 million empire with him by I don't know what.
You didn't earn shit, bitch. You didn't do anything. You married into greatness. That's what you did. And you did it because you wanted to be part of the limelight. And you were. Not saying you're wrong for that, but you didn't do shit. You didn't earn a dime for Hulk Hogan. Not a dime.
What the fuck we got divorced? 2007, whatever, 2007. We had like a $25 million empire. And when I met him, he was in a fucking piece of shit car, living in Minnesota with a roommate. He had no money. Okay, yeah, he was in the Rocky movie. Who knew where that would go?
He was a loser who had no money, but he was also in a Rocky movie. By that point, Hogan wasn't like the mega star, but he was pretty fucking close to hitting that next level.
Who knew where that would go? Who knew? But we hooked up before that, and then all of a sudden it just ignited, right? So it wasn't after that, it was before that. But
yikes. I cannot believe that she decided to upload this video to the internet. Maybe it isn't politics, but that's usually my opinion. That's usually where I look at things and I'm going, what is actually going on here? Because I haven't heard from Linda Hogan in God knows how long. And now suddenly Hulk Hogan is, kind of prominent with the Trump administration, and he's a big Trump supporter. And now his ex-wife wants to come out there. And again, I could be wrong, but we shall see. But anyway, that I could believe when I saw that. I'm like, are you kidding me? You actually uploaded this to the internet. Yes, you did. Okay. Well, you uploaded it and we get to roast you over it. It is kind of difficult to watch, though. It is just tough to see that. And you're like, what are we doing? Let's see where we're at. Got that. Gollum's half botched circumcision says, I just got here. What are we doing? I'm drunk. Don't get too drunk. All right. Kylito's Corner says, Kyle Busch update. He got to race against his 9-year-old son for the first time last night. Hope a cup win is next. 199 Cobra Kai never dies. Boo Disney. Yes, Brexton, right? That's his son's name. I think, is that his name? Am I right about that? Kylito's Corner. I like Kurt Busch a lot, man. I'm sorry, Kyle. I like Kyle Busch a lot. Kurt, I was never a big Kurt Busch fan. Solo Felix says, notice how these radicals keep pushing the gun epidemic, trying to ban guns, linking it to the pandemic so they can use emergency draconian powers to ban guns. Yeah, I mean, that's why, like, this whole idea of banning stuff, it's a never-ending nonsensical rabbit hole, to the point where, now I hope everybody's feeling safe, by the way. You should be feeling safe right about now, because if I could find it, I know that I had it somewhere. There's always a problem with my bookmarks on Twitter. By the way, Twitter was down earlier today for a short period of time. I don't know if there was any confirmation on what exactly created that, but where is it clip at? I'll just have to type it. So boom, boom, boom. I couldn't believe this was a real tweet when I saw it. I couldn't believe it, but it is. Okay. And I want to pull the actual tweet up if I could find it. I can't find the actual tweet, so I'll just pull this one up. Ladies and gentlemen, Keir Starmer says, confirmed ninja swords will be banned by this summer. When we promise action, we take it. I thought it was a meme. I seriously thought it was a meme. I'm like, this can't be real. It's real. It's a real tweet. And I'm like, what are we doing? How is this real life? Now, I want to show something. And I want everyone to prepare, okay? Because I'm going to show a very, very dangerous video to let Keir Starmer know exactly how we feel. Here we go. This is how we do it in America, baby.
Secret Service is getting very nervous right now.
Does anybody want some cake? Oh, man. Friggin' Trump turning around asking if anybody wants any cake has got to be one of the greatest things ever. So I couldn't believe it, though. But that's truly it, man. Swords, Trump. Let's see. And if you remember that moment, if I could find it, here it is right here. Good old Ben Giles. Here we go. What's up, Ben Giles? Look at the face he makes right here. Hang on. Where was it at? So yeah, man, there you go. Banning ninja swords. That's the reality. And so the banning of guns and that we've heard that argument 1,000 times. And this is why I'm not in favor of banning literally anything. Like, as you guys know, I am very much, I don't drink. I don't do drugs. I don't smoke cigarettes. I never have, and I never will. I have nothing, like, I think all that stuff should be legal. I don't, not like legal for anyone, you know, but like if you're an adult and if you want to do that crap to yourself, then go for it, man. I don't think that the government should be banning stuff like that and having the power to. If you choose to destroy your life with drugs, go for it. You know, not my problem. Just keep it away from me. But it's like anything else. When you ban certain words or when you ban certain things, then suddenly it creates a precedent that is a dangerous precedent. And so that's my whole stance on it. I don't care what anybody does with their life. I don't care what you do with your money. As long as you're not trying to hurt others, then it's not really my business. That's always been my stance on it. And but yeah, banning fucking ninja swords. So you're gonna ban, I don't know, you're gonna ban spoons whenever somebody kills with a spoon. It's just such a nonsensical rabbit hole that you're willing to go down in that situation. AOE2 Freak for $10 says, great to have CobraCast back. Hail chat. Thank you, AOE2 Freak. East Coast Toasted Boy says, also no such thing as trans kids, also or only abused kids, and being obsessed with a stereotype is cringe. They don't like being called out, but love doing it. Like, make up your minds. Do you like it or not? This is true. And yeah, I mean, there is no such thing as trans kids, and anybody that tries to say that is not living in the real world. You can have delusions, and you can be as delusional as you choose to be. You can be as delusional as you want, but that doesn't mean that we normal people have to live in your delusional land. Green74 says, spending my birthday with the 199 for the third year, growing up an orphan, having no family, and spending my many birthdays alone. I can't think of a better group of people to spend my birthday with. Hey, brother, right there with you. We appreciate it. Everybody throw some birthday love over to Green74, hanging out with the Snake Pit, the 199 on his third straight year now on his birthday. So happy birthday, brother. Glad you're here with us. Grand Potato says, Hulk dodged a massive bullet. Yeah. Yes, indeed. Mike Zero Source says, Linda Hogan needs Irish sunglasses to make this cry session more complete. I can't believe she uploaded that. Red Mage for 20 says, that would have been more epic if the military detail behind Trump started dancing with him. I'm impressed they could keep a straight face. I know, man. Respect to them for holding it down. Let's see. Bo Briscoe says, I recently found an LGBTQ page on Twitter. It's been fun to have a crowd again. Also loving all of the based gays on TikTok. Hail the 199 MAGA. Let's go. Thank you, brother. Anima Chain says, dang, Linda is worse than Afro Fig. Celluloid Dream. What's up, Celluloid Dream? Jeremy is a cool guy. Wouldn't go that far. River Miles says, I respect her for having the self-esteem to post that without covering the meth scabs. God darn, dude. That's like Britney Spears level of crazy. I don't really know the whole story with Britney Spears and what all she's been through, but it to me, it seems like her her dad had conservatorship over her or whatever, and it seems like that was done for a reason to protect her from herself. She seems to be very mentally unstable and unhinged, and but I don't know the whole story. Maybe I'm wrong about that. I had to show you guys this. I forgot to show you this video clip yesterday because I was having to get ready for the gaming stream. By the way, we had an awesome stream this morning on Geeks and Gamers Play. Expect more content over there. I'm going to be making more gaming content over there, so be on the lookout for that. Let me find this clip. You're going to love it. I'm sure many of you have already seen it, but if you have not, I will show you as soon as I find it. It's Marjorie Taylor Greene, and it's awesome. And it's one of the best moments. I don't know if it's an old clip or not. Here we go right here. I don't know if this is an old clip or not, but this is freaking awesome right here.
Yep. Anybody else?
Should the defense secretary?
What country are you? Wait, what country are you from?
The UK.
Okay, we don't give a crap about your opinion.
We got to start it over. So fucking good.
Yep. Anybody else?
Should the defense secretary?
What country are you? Wait, what country are you from?
The UK.
Okay, we don't give a crap about your opinion and your reporting. Why don't you go back to your country where you have a major migrant problem? And you no. You should care about your own borders.
Do you care
No.
about American lives being put at risk?
Let me tell you something. Do you care about people from your country? What about all the women that are raped by migrants?
Do you care
No,
about
by migrants. No, do you care? Okay, you're done.
Do you care about
I'm not.
American lives being put at risk?
You know what? I don't
About
care. I don't.
service members fighting for your country.
I don't care
and
about your
the
fake
vice
news.
president?
Do you have a relevant question? Yeah, this is an American journalist thing.
She was just like, where are you from? Get out of my face. I was like, okay, that was awesome. So, yes, I wanted to show all of you guys that one. And then we've got this clip here that's been making the rounds that I have not seen yet, but apparently Caitlin Collins got destroyed here. So let's listen to this. Caitlin Collins is becoming the most memed reporter on the planet.
Do you believe that a mistake was made here, though, to have this conversation, to add a reporter, and to have it on an unsupported, classified group setting?
Caitlin, as I've just told you, I've just answered the question. I wasn't part of it. And, I'm not going to speculate more than what the president's already talked about and those who've been involved have talked about, but we'd love to talk about the veterans.
Yeah, and I do have questions about the veterans, but given what we saw with the group chat and how this was used, you are a member of the cabinet. You obviously know these other members, several of them who were in there. Is this typical for the cabinet to have conversations over Signal? Is this something that you use?
Well, Caitlin, since you undoubtedly do not want to talk about the VA, I have a question as VA Secretary. As Cabinet, I want to ask you, because I've been curious about this, because my job is to take care of veterans, and I would like to know why CNN is hostile to veterans, especially one in Florida, where you just had a $5 million defamation suit taking offense at a veteran who was trying to help people. In fact, one of your employees actually said, we're going to nail him. I have a question for you, Caitlin. Is that employee still employed? Are you really concerned about veterans? So if we don't want to talk about veterans now, you want to talk about everything else, I'd like to hear from CNN as the Veteran Cabinet Secretary why CNN seems to have a problem with veterans.
Oh, my goodness. This is fantastic. This is the first time I've seen this clip. I've heard people talking about this. This is fire. The Signal chat is their new January 6th, by the way. This is their new J6. They are going to talk about this Signal chat for the next 4 fucking years. They're just going to be nonstop about it. And all of the losers with pronouns in their bio are going to repeat this nonsense about the Signal chat. That's all they're going to do now. It's the new January 6th.
Well, Mr. Secretary, respectfully, my question was about whether or not you as a member of the cabinet use this. And respectfully, I'm conducting the investigation. And I do have a lot of questions for you on Veterans Affairs, but I don't think it would be unwarranted to ask
What you want to do is talk about a subject I've already answered. And if you want to continue this like this, that's fine. But there are VA employees who are working very hard. There are veterans who get their care from the VA and they get their benefits from the VA. And it does me no good to speculate on something that I've already asked and answered. So I've asked and answered your question. Why don't you answer mine? Are you still, is this person still employed who said they were going to nail one of my veterans? who you had to do a $5 million award from a jury because of defamation, and then you settled the case. Answer my question.
Respectfully, sir, I'm asking the questions here, and I have no involvement in what you're referencing there. But if you don't want to answer the question about whether or not, do you?
She's a horrible person, a nasty person, as President Trump said. And I think there's probably no better time. We got to pull that clip up of Trump calling her a nasty person. Trump, nasty person. I'm sure we can find that clip really quick. It's one of the great clips. Is this it right here? Yeah, here we go. Right here.
The federal government was seeking them and then had given you a subpoena to return
Are you
them.
ready? Are you ready? Can I talk?
Yeah, what's
You
the
mind?
answer?
Do you mind?
I would like for you to answer the question.
Okay, it's very simple to answer.
That's why I asked it.
It's very simple to. You're a nasty person. I'll tell you.
Can you answer why you
Very
why you
simple.
held on to the documents?
I was negotiating, and we were talking.
Oh, it's so good to watch that. She's a terrible person, and she's been getting roasted across the board. Trump is done with her. Like every time she tries to ask a question, you could see him go like, I didn't ask. I didn't call on you. I didn't give you permission. I didn't, I'm surprised she's still there, but I think that she's still there and CNN is still there. So Trump can just roast them and go viral every time he does it, because it is really bad. So let me see where we're at here. Dark Obsidian says, Matt's getting destroyed over on X over that stupid comment he made about you and everyone else about the Disney comment. Matt's getting destroyed on X over that stupid comment he made about you and everyone else. Yeah, I responded to that one. Okay, I know what you're talking about now. I didn't know what it took me a minute to realize what you were talking about. Let me see. Yeah, so this guy right here, I don't really know who he is, but he tagged me and everybody, and he's like, you guys, here it is, right here. So he's like, the great irony is that if Disney suddenly started making good movies, channels like Nerdrotic, D-Day Cobra, Yellow Flash, and Heel versus Babyface wouldn't have material for their content. These types of comments are from brain dead losers. So I was like, I have no content outside of Disney. R.I.P. me. Yeah. I didn't do a Nintendo Switch 2. I didn't do a Nintendo Switch reveal this morning with nearly 2,000 people watching. We didn't do a Mario Kart stream last night that we do every week with 1,500, 2,000 people watching. I don't have a sports channel. I cover more gaming right now than I do Hollywood. But yeah, stuff like this is crazy. And then even Gary followed up because he's got Forbidden Frontier. Not sure what I'd do if Disney and the rest of Hollywood turned things around. Guess I'll talk about good movies and TV shows, which we do when they occasionally come out. This is true right here. There's a Harley Dave in the house. Yeah, I dropped my criticalist review, but yeah, so stuff like this is just hilarious. But yeah, I didn't know what you meant when you said that at first, but yeah, he's getting pretty destroyed over there. John Ruck says Hogan X should have saved gold, not buying handbags. 'Tis true. Your Barmy says when he waves the sword around. Spike's Best Suit says, I have a question for Laughing Man, and this will be a deep cut, but is that name from the movie Freaked? There is a character with the same, and he just laughs for his lies. There we go. Manically. There we go. Are you here, Laughing Man? Swordsman 20 or 22-0 says, thanks for helping to cheer me up after a very crappy week. Hey, I'm happy to help you, man. I think the people here are happy too. I don't know if Laughing Man is here. Is Laughing Man here? He'll have to answer that one. So Laughing Man, we summon you right now. Laughing Man. 8 o'clock says the British Prime Minister must be having a difficult time beating Assassin's Creed shadows. Tommy John says, instead of dreading work tomorrow, I'm thinking about how I hate my boss. I'm going to hit the pen, sip my drink, and poke my stepmom right where it counts. Thank you for the super chat. Eric John says, bigger surprise, Vance or Rubio? That's a good question. The way I would look at this is Marco Rubio is 100% reliant upon the direction of President Trump, whereas JD Vance is showing to be his own man. So I think that, like, if you're talking about just true bigger surprise, it's probably Rubio, but I don't know if Rubio should get credit because he's simply just, he's doing exactly what he should be doing. JD Vance is showing that not only is he a great vice president, which ultimately all the vice president needs to be as a good supporter of President Trump, JD Vance is showing that not only is he a good vice president, but he's proving to be potentially the man to take over MAGA after Trump. So I'm going to have to say JD Vance because I just don't think, I think Rubio, I appreciate that Rubio's doing a good job. I appreciate that he's been a great Secretary of State. I think if Marco Rubio were operating under a different president, Marco Rubio would be a different person altogether because Marco Rubio isn't authentic. He's a chameleon and he'll fit in with wherever he needs to fit. With that said, it does need to be noted that Trump endorsed Lindsey Graham yesterday. Yeah. Now, I got some interesting things to say about that because I actually responded to Lindsey Graham on Twitter, letting him know that we hate him because we do. Everybody hates Lindsey Graham. Right here. So here's Lindsey Graham on Twitter. President Trump's endorsement means the world to me. I'm humbled by his faith in me as a senator and as a friend. On a professional level, I am proud to have been there at the beginning when President Trump, through sheer force of will, achieved the greatest political comeback. I'm very happy because I want more war. I want more war. I'm Lindsey Graham. So I responded, we love President Trump, but we hate you. Fuck off. And that's where I stand on it. Now, what's interesting is I did see a good theory about this, and I need to see if I can find it because it does make sense. You guys like my Lindsey Graham accent? I can't stand Lindsey Graham, man. I really don't like him. I truly dislike the man. But this was interesting right here, if I can find it. It was from, what's his name? This guy that's like he was a big DeSantis guy. Here it is right here. No, that's not it. Bill Mitchell. You guys remember Bill Mitchell? Bill Mitchell. He was a big DeSantis guy or whatever. Maybe I liked it. I can't remember. Give me a minute. I got to hunt this down. I hunted. Here we go. Yeah. Bill Mitchell. So there it is. So Bill Mitchell was a big DeSantis guy. And as soon as DeSantis stepped down, to be fair, I didn't think he was genuine, but Bill Mitchell has actually stuck to supporting Trump. So whatever. Anyway, I do think that he's correct right here. Why did Trump endorse Lindsey Graham? Think about it. Lindsey is going to win re-election whether Trump endorses him or not. So why not say nice things about the guy and make him feel indebted to you? Trump needs as many Senate allies as he can get. On the other hand, Trump could attack Lindsey. He wins anyway, and Trump has an enemy in the Senate. Think strategically, folks. I don't disagree with anything Bill Mitchell said right there. So I gotta give him credit for that one. I think that's a very fair point. But it doesn't change the fact that I can't stand Lindsey Graham. Can't stand him. So yeah, Bill Mitchell follows me for some reason. I don't know why. I'm not going to follow him back yet. Maybe one day I'll follow him back, but I don't know. For that point, I think I should consider it, but I'm still not going to do it yet. So maybe one day I will. Let's see. What is this? Elon Musk becomes deeply moved and deadly serious when Brett Baer asked him why he called Senator Mark Kelly a traitor for pushing to send more U.S. aid and weapons to Ukraine. Watch every second of his response. Okay. Here we go.
You know, a lot is coming your way, but sometimes you say stuff or post stuff that gets attention. You give it out, in other words. Democratic Arizona Senator Mark Kelly posted on X about his trip to Ukraine to push for continuing to send U.S. weapons and support there, and you posted that he was a traitor. Well, why do that?
Well, I think somebody should care about the interests of the United States above the interests of another country. And if they don't, they're a traitor.
Yeah, but he's a decorated veteran, a former astronaut, a sitting U.S. senator.
It doesn't mean it's okay for him to put the interests of another country above America.
He's right.
Obviously, there are some Republicans who think supporting Ukraine is the right thing still, but there is a battle back and forth about how do you think it comes to an end?
Well, I think there will be a negotiated peace, and the thing that we should be concerned about is we should have empathy for the thousands of people that are dying every day in trenches, for no movement in the lines. So the borders remain the same. For the past 2 years, thousands of people have died every week for nothing. For what? And I take great offense at those who put the appearance of goodness over the reality of it.
Ooh.
Those who virtue signal
wow.
and say, oh, we can't give in to Russia, but have no solution to stopping thousands of kids dying every day. They just want that to continue forever. I have contempt for such people. I want to make that clear.
Yeah. So you're optimistic.
Because they're virtue signaling, and their lack of a solution means that kids don't have a father. It means that parents lost a son. For what? Nothing.
That was a pretty incredible answer. I want to hear the last part of this really quick. That was really good stuff.
Those who put the appearance of goodness over the reality of it. Those who virtue signal and say, oh, we can't give in to Russia, but have no solution to stopping thousands of kids dying every day. They just want that to continue forever. I have contempt for such people. I want to make that clear.
Yeah. So you're optimistic.
Because they're virtue signaling, and their lack of a solution means that kids don't have a father. It means that parents lost a son. For what? Nothing.
Yeah, it's good stuff right there, man. And imagine not being on the side of Elon Musk and President Trump right now. I will never forget. I wish somebody could find it because I don't know where I said it. I probably said it on a CobraCast, and this is around the time that Elon and Trump were arguing and going back and forth. Because like Trump took shots at Elon for buying Twitter. Elon took shots at Trump for saying that he needs to move on and not run again. And then Trump took more shots at Elon. It was a little bit back and forth. Somewhere on a CobraCast around that time, I said that these two guys need to put their differences aside and work together because they could be the mega powers of the political landscape. If you remember the mega powers back in the day, Hulk Hogan, Macho Man, they could be the mega powers. They could be an unstoppable force. If these two guys could get on the same page, I said that. And see, people in the chat says I remember. So if somebody could find that clip for me, throw it to me on Twitter or email or something. I don't know. This was obviously this is like years ago. But it happened. I didn't think it would actually happen, but it did happen. And then on top of that, I didn't think that they would become like stepbrothers, best friends, because they literally just like, did we just become best friends? Yep. And that's what's happened with these two guys. They are like best friends at this point. And it's interesting because Trump said in an interview last week, that he's like, I didn't really know Elon. I think that's really what it came down to, is that neither one of these guys knew each other. And because of the state of the world and because of the circumstances, they ended up finally meeting and finally sitting down, and all of the bullshit was off the table. All of the media spin and the things that were said about both of these guys, all of that was out the table. And you had two massively successful men sitting across from each other and having a real conversation. And what they found out was that we both love America. We're both tired of what we're seeing, and we're both willing to put it all on the line to save this country and to move us forward. And that is fucking fantastic. It really is. So I am really, really happy about that. So let's see. Fantastic vs. Knox says banning ninja swords, guess long swords are okay. Warbrier says Kier swallows ninja swords. Madney says funny how the UK didn't need to ban swords and knives before cultural enrichment. 8 o'clock says that cake video POV, you leaked military plans to a journalist just to show off what a Chad in chief you are. Let's go, Trump. Eric K says ban Jeremy from CobraCast, make CobraCast great again. Jeremy the Gay says, how's my pick? Gandalf and me, not too bad. Madney says Scott Pressler is trans now and has a show on CNN. Chad Layton says, damn it, I'm late to the party again. What's up, Chad Layton? Good to see you, brother. Eric says Scott Pressler will be on the People's Pundit channel tomorrow to talk about the GOP and not supporting him and their abandonment of grassroots that got us Trump. So hang on, say this again. Scott Pressler will be on the People's Pundit channel tomorrow to talk about the GOP not supporting him and their abandonment of the grassroots efforts that got us Trump. Really? Okay. I don't know what the story is there. I haven't heard anything about that. So, East Coast Toasted Boy says, shut up, red coat. We left you for a reason. Force Geek says Trump gave Republicans their nuts back. MAGA. Mr. T94 says, yo, Jeremy. Tyler Bosher's here. Glad I can catch CobraCast live. It's been a minute. Also, I think I could change Caitlin. She just needs a good MAGA D. Hail chat. Must Play Review says, I just got monetized, only 130 subs away from full monetizations. Let's freaking go. Hail the 199. Congratulations. Keep grinding. Woodeman says no content. You guys did weak on Jay not wiping. Vault 95 says, how's your Rumble numbers doing? More than Joe Rogan's. Yeah, we have more people watching us on Rumble than Joe Rogan. 247 people watching us right now on Rumble. And I see you, Rumble chat. You guys like Jeremy ignores Rumble. I see you. Complete random. Clancy, Damon. Let's see. Cam Man's got a pinned post over there. I see you, Rumble. Let's see. East Coast Toasted Boy says, who names their son Lindsay? Gays. W. Porter says Dems are pissing shit about the signal text, but didn't care at all about Hillary's personal email server and all her communications for years. Yeah, I got to think that this server thing or this signal thing is going to be non-stop from the mainstream media. Non-stop. Force Geek says, I'm from South Carolina. I won't be voting for Graham in 26. He's a war hawk. Fig, who sucks Israel's nuts. He stabbed at Trump in the back during J6. He'll do it again. I agree. Keela says, husband lost his job due to DOGE today. He worked on medical records for the state. We both voted for Trump and would again. Fraud needs to be dealt with. 100%. And I'm sorry about that. Obviously, there is going to be some collateral damage, but I think that it's, it's everything's got to, sometimes things have to get bad before they can get better, and they're going to get worse sometimes before they get better. But I think everything's going to turn around, but I am sorry to hear that. And I wish you both the best. Too High Strung says, lost House seat. Pressler got no support. I'll have to look into this. I don't know anything about that. So, yeah, I don't know. Like, it's weird because this is before the election, but I know, like, I think Krista had talked to Scott Pressler about him coming on the show, which again, I'm not really a guest driven show here. And we had lined up a time and a date, and it just never happened. And then he just stopped responding. So it's like, I mean, that's fine. I mean, this is why I don't play the game with people trying to have people on the show, because it really comes down to, like, it's all about numbers and clout and how many people you connect with and all of that. And it's like, I don't want to be viewed differently because I have more or less people watching me than you think is relevant or whatever. Because I guarantee you, if I had Benny Johnson's numbers, I guarantee you Scott Pressler would never have ghosted me. Like, and I think the reason this all happens, because how did this happen? Somebody tagged him on Twitter and they said, you should go on CobraCast. He responded. Yeah, that's how it was. He responded, and Krista responded to his tweet and says, we'll be in touch, because he said he wanted to come on. And then she made contact with him, and they lined up a date and a time, but he just ghosted us after that. I'm not mad about it. It's fine. It's just, this is why I don't play the game of, like, guest and, hey, come on my show and tell my audience about what you're doing and all that. Because I don't like the, like, I liked it to actually be somebody that you know and you have some type of rapport with, instead of just like some person you don't know anything about. It's just annoying. Logan Paul is the new Hulk Hogan. I don't know about that. Logan Paul is a fantastic professional wrestler, though. I hate his guts. Alex Kane says, I'm more of mega, make everything great again. I hear you. Leanback says that Graham impression was way too good. It rivals Beardo's RFK. Please take this money for your next pair of super gay Crocs. Hail the 199. I'm not sure I could do the Lindsey Graham impersonation again if you asked me. I'm not sure I could. Holy shit. Is this a lefty meme? Ladies and gentlemen, after I read Elite Neo's super chat, we may have the first ever, this is breaking news, we may have a first ever leftist meme that's funny. This might be the first leftist meme that's ever funny. Big time news right here. Elite Neo for 50 says, hey, Jeremy, did you hear how Deputy National Security Advisor Alex Wong, who added Jeffrey Goldberg to that signal chat, is married to attorney Candace Wong, who was a key attorney in prosecuting J6ers? This is why I don't believe in coincidences. No, I did not know that story, but I will look into that, because I agree completely. That's why I said, like, this whole story doesn't sound right for Jeffrey Goldberg. All right. So, for him to end up there, it's just weird. So let's see here. Okay. So again, breaking news, a leftist meme that's funny. Boom. All right. First time I've kind of laughed at a left-wing meme. That is fucking funny as hell, dude. I don't know if that's a lefty meme, because that seems more like a MAGA meme. I think that's more like a MAGA meme. So I don't know, but either way, it's really good. It's really good. I don't know if a lefty did that one, because a lefty meme would have been more ridiculous, I think. That looks like a MAGA meme. Veronid with 5 gifted memberships. Thank you, Veronid. Eric Heffelfinger says PA GOP lost a House seat in a district. Trump won by 15 points. Scott got no help. Okay. That sucks. I want to know more details about it before I make any comments. I don't know the specifics of it or whatever. So, but that is a good meme right there. Damn good meme. Let's see here. What is this? Got that one. Okay. Got that one. There's a lot of these Elon clips, and I'm just trying to make sure that I haven't missed any of them. What is this?
All the young people who are here, I just pause for a moment and look around.
Can you hear that? I can't hear it.
Well, Sammy, thank you. And to all the young people who are here, I just pause for a moment and look around and look at, I'm especially talking about these old white guys who seem to disappoint us on a regular basis in this country.
Oh, boy. He says, I'm especially talking to these old white guys who seem to disappoint us on a regular basis in this country. So he had to bring race into it so he could talk bad about white guys. It's amazing how they can just be racist towards white dudes, white people. It's fine. You can be racist against white people, but that's the only one, apparently. Nobody else. You're not allowed. You're not allowed to say anything about that. Nope, not at all. You can't. You can't do it. No other races. You can't say anything bad about countries or anything like that unless it's Russia. You can talk bad about Russia all day long. Oh, yeah. The mainstream media can tell you that Russia is the worst thing that's ever existed in the history of the country. And Russians are responsible for every bad thing. But that's it. Oh, here's the Elon Musk interview in its entirety. Perfect. Here we go right here. All right. I've been looking for this. Here we go.
I know there's a lot of interest in this. You know, first, let me start with you, Elon. What are the budgetary savings goals, and how much do you think you've achieved so far?
Our goal is to reduce the deficit by $1 trillion. So from a nominal deficit of $2 trillion to try to cut the deficit in half to $1 trillion, or looked at it in total federal spending to drop the federal spending from $7 trillion to $6 trillion. We want to reduce the spending by eliminating waste and fraud, reduce the spending by 15%, which seems really quite achievable. The government is not efficient, and there's a lot of waste and fraud. So we feel confident that a 15% reduction can be done without affecting any of the critical government services.
I'm going to talk to all the guys.
If not making it better.
I'm going to talk to all the guys here about the specifics. But for you, what's the most astonishing thing you've found out in this process?
The sheer amount of waste and fraud in the government. It is astonishing. It's mind-blowing. We routinely encounter wastes of $1 billion or more, casually. For example, like the simple survey that was literally 10-question survey that you could do with SurveyMonkey, cost you about $10,000. The government was being charged almost $1 billion for that.
For just the survey?
$1 billion for a simple online survey. Do you like the national park? And then there appeared to be no feedback loop for what would be done with that survey. So the survey would just go into nothing. It was like insane. You
technically are a special government employee, and you're supposed to be 130 days. Are you going to continue past that, or do you think that's what you're going to do? Or? Well, I think we will have accomplished most of the work required to reduce the deficit by $1 trillion within that time frame.
That's crazy.
So in that time frame, 130 days. And the process is a report at some point at 100 days? Or?
Not really a report. We are cutting the waste and fraud in real time. So every day that passes, our goal is to reduce the waste and fraud by $4 billion a day, every day, 7 days a week. And so far, we are succeeding.
And I'm going to talk to the specifics, but there obviously are DOGE critics who are reading all kinds of stuff. Obviously, lawmakers on the other side of the aisle are attacking you, and they characterize the approach as this: fire, ready, and then aim. And how do you approach that? How do you respond to that?
Well, I do agree that we actually want to be careful in the cuts. So we want to measure twice, if not thrice, and cut once. Actually, that is our approach. They may characterize it as shooting from the hip, but it is anything but that. Which is not to say that we don't make mistakes. If we were to approach this with the standard of making no mistakes at all, that would be like saying someone in baseball's got to bat 1,000. That's impossible. So when we do make mistakes, we correct them quickly, and we move on.
Some people say this shouldn't take a rocket scientist. Steve Davis, you are a rocket scientist.
Used to be.
Yeah, I know. And now essentially you're the chief operating officer of DOGE, day-to-day operations. Fair to say?
Yeah, part of the DOGE team.
So how did you end up here? What's the biggest challenge you see?
The reason I'm here, which is probably for many, is that I think the goal is incredibly inspiring. I think most of the taxpayers in the country would agree that in order to have the country going bankrupt would be a very bad thing, and therefore the country going not bankrupt is a good thing. That all of us are willing to kind of put our lives on hold in order to do. I think the thing that's special right now is we actually believe there's a chance to succeed, that there's an administration that's supportive and a great cabinet and just a great group that will actually make success a possible outcome. And I think that's, given the inspiring mission and given the non-zero chance of success, it was worth doing.
Yeah, I just like to sort of reemphasize that point. The success of those.
I'd like to point out that not a whole lot of diversity here. We are so back, boys.
It's only possible with President Trump and with the outstanding cabinet that he selected. It would be impossible without the support of the president and the cabinet.
But you're finding the money. I mean, it's big numbers, right?
Yeah, like Elon said, the minimum impulse bid is often $1 billion. So for example, the $830 million, which was the online survey, that's an enormous amount of money that wouldn't have been found if the DOGE team wasn't working with it, in that case, the Department of Interior. But then taking it one step further, DOGE then publishes these things on our website for maximum transparency. So now the general public, it would have been impossible for the general public to have seen that. Now anyone can just log into doge.gov anytime and see these payments. As they're not yet in real time, they're close, but they'll probably be in real time within the next few weeks.
But the process, it still involves Congress, right? At some level?
We try to keep Congress as informed as possible, but the law does say that money needs to be spent correctly. It should not be spent fraudulently or wastefully. It's not contrary to Congress to avoid waste and fraud. It is consistent with the law and consistent with Congress. And we've seen actually great support, at least from the Republican side of the House, and occasionally some Democrats too. It's nice to see people cross the aisle once in a while. But usually when they attack DOGE, they never attack any of the specifics. So they'll say what we're doing is somehow unconstitutional or illegal or whatever. We're like, well, which line of the cost savings do you disagree with? And they can't point to any. And we list them all on doge.gov and the DOGE handle on X. And you'll see just outrageous things, one outrageous thing after another.
Joe Gabbia, besides Elon, you're one of several billionaires here, co-founder of Airbnb, and you wanted to help out.
I bumped into Anthony and Elon probably back in February, and they told me something about a mine that was dealt with retirement, and they said they needed somebody to help out to fix retirement in the government. I love the challenge, so I jumped on board, and it turns out there is actually a mine in Pennsylvania that houses every paper document for the retirement process in the government. Now picture this. This giant cave has 22,000 filing cabinets, stacked 10 high, to house 400 million pieces of paper.
Jesus.
It's a process that started in the 1950s and largely hasn't changed in the last 70 years. And so as he dug into it, we found retirement cases that had so much paper, they had to fit it on a shipping pallet. So the process takes many months, and we're going to make it just many days.
Will it be digitized or how?
Absolutely. So this will be an online digital process that will take just a few days at most. And I really think, it's an injustice to civil servants who are subjected to these processes that are older than the age of half the people watching your show tonight. So we really believe that the government can have an Apple Store-like experience, beautifully designed, great user experience, modern systems.
Because right now it's by hand.
Yes, the retirement process is all by paper, literally with people carrying paper in manila envelopes into this gigantic mine.
So they can't retire more than a certain number every month.
Yes.
About 8,000 a month.
I don't know if this was like pre-announced or whatever, but honestly, like Elon and these guys should absolutely do a prime time, almost like a town hall setting, so that you could put to bed all of this nonsense that gets said about them. Do a town hall where these guys and Elon are present and have the audience asking them questions so that you can get the truth out there to the average American person, that these are the men that are standing there going through all of this, and this is their experience. And obviously there's some things that they can and can't say, but to see and hear from them and their background and what they were involved in and now what they're doing, this is fantastic.
That's how the reason we discovered it was we were saying like, well, let's encourage voluntary retirement.
Yes, somebody said have Joe Rogan host it. Oh my goodness. See, this is what was it? Vivek had said that at one of the Republican debates where he's like, here's what you do, okay? You get Joe Rogan and Tucker Carlson to host the town hall, and you have Elon Musk and DOGE there. And don't even, like, as much as I'd love to have President Trump there, President Trump has other things to worry about. He can do something on a different date. Joe Rogan and Tucker Carlson hosting a town hall, bring the American people in, and let DOGE have the town hall with the people.
Retirement. I said, well, the most they could do is 8,000 a month, and even under normal circumstances, it can take 6 to 9 months just to have your retirement paperwork processed, and they often get the calculations wrong. So we're like, well, why would it take so long to retire? And they're like, well, because of the mine. And we're like, what do you mean a mine? What's a mine got to do with retiring? And that's where we discovered that all the retirement stuff is still done by paper in a process that looks identical to what occurred in the 1950s. Like we took a snapshot of the mine when it first started in the 50s to today, it looks the same.
It's amazing. So how long do you think it'll take to turn over?
We're working as fast as we can. Probably next couple of months we'll have this overhauled. And, I really think, again, like, why are we subjecting our federal workers to processes that they actually have to go through a training just to retire from the government? There's a whole training program that people have to go through in order to retire. I think we can do better for them.
Aram Moganasi, DOGE engineer. You go into these places, one of the more than a dozen engineers, first people to go into the agencies and view the computer data sets. Tell me what you're finding, and for people who don't understand how that process works, explain it for them.
Yeah, I'll say the first thing that got me really excited about DOGE was learning basically the state of government computers. By some estimates, government IT costs about $100 billion, and it's funding systems that are over 50 years old, in the case of something like Social Security or the IRS. So really critical systems are old. They cost a lot of money to maintain, and they can be, the efforts to improve them are often very delayed. So I thought I'm a software engineer that maybe can make a difference here, and that's really what inspired me at a high level.
There's a lot of mystery about Social Security and a lot of words about it here's what Democrats have been saying about it.
It's absurd that Elon Musk is trying to eliminate billions of dollars from Social Security.
Elon Musk and President Trump have set their sights on cutting Social Security.
Their goal is clear: destroy Social Security from within.
You're in the building. I mean, you're in the computers. What's happening there? What are you doing?
Yeah, it doesn't line up with my experience on the ground. And I'll say the two improvements that we're trying to make to Social Security are helping people that legitimately get benefits, protect them from fraud that they experience every day on a routine basis, and also make the experience better. And I'll give you one example is at Social Security, one of the first things we learned is that they get phone calls every day of people trying to change direct deposit information. So when you want to change your bank account, you can call Social Security. We learned 40% of the phone calls that they get are from fraudsters.
40%.
That's right. Almost half.
Yes, and they steal people's social security is what happens. Is they call in, they say they claim to be a retiree, then they convince the social security person on the phone to change where the money's flowing. It actually goes to some fraudster. This is happening all day, every day, and then somebody doesn't receive their social security. It's because of all the fraud loopholes in the social security system.
How do you reassure people that what you all are doing is not going to affect their benefits?
No, in fact, what we're doing will help their benefits. Legitimate people, as a result of the work of DOGE, will receive more Social Security, not less. I want to emphasize that. As a result of the work of DOGE, legitimate recipients of Social Security will receive more money, not less money.
All right.
I want to emphasize that point and let the record show that I said this, and it will be proven out to be true. Let's check back on this in the future.
So Washington Post, the Social Security Administration website crashed 4 times in 10 days this month because the servers were overloaded, blocking millions of retirees and disabled veterans from logging into their online accounts. Freaked people out. Is that going to change?
Yes, we're going to make sure that the website stays online.
Yeah. I mean, but is it a result of going in there or something you're doing?
No. The amount of issues that were with the Social Security system are enormous. As an example, there are over 15 million people that are over the age of 120 that are marked as alive in the Social Security system.
And that's an accurate figure.
Yeah, correct.
15 million.
Correct. This has been something that's been identified as a problem.
Wow.
Again, pre-existing problems since 2008, at least, from an IG report. So there were some great people working at the Social Security Administration that found this, 2008, and nothing was done. And so 15 to 20 million Social Security numbers that were clearly fraudulent were floating around that can be used only for bad intentions. There'd be no way to use those for good intentions. And so one of the things the DOGE team is doing is carefully and very methodically looking at those and making sure that any fraudulent ones are eliminated.
Brad Smith, working at HHS, and obviously another element is Medicare and Medicaid, NIH. What are you finding?
Yeah, well, I'd say there's a couple of things we're really committed to in our work at HHS. Number one, making sure we continue to have the best biomedical research in the world. And number two, making sure, which President Trump has said over and over again, that we 100% protect Medicare and Medicaid. But there's a lot of opportunity. So if I take NIH as an example, today, if you're an NIH researcher and you get a $100 grant at your university, today you get to spend 60 of that and your university spends 40 of that. The policy that we're proposing to make is that you get to spend 85 of that and your university spends 15. So that's more money going directly to the scientists who are discovering new cures. Another example at NIH is today they have 27 different centers. They got created over time by Congress, and they're typically by disease state or body system. There's 700 different IT systems today at NIH.
700 different IT systems.
IT software systems. They can't speak to each other.
So they don't talk to one another.
They have 27 different CIOs. And so when you think about making great medical discoveries, you have to connect the data.
Time out. You said 27 different chief information officers?
Correct.
And most of them are non-technical.
So there's a lot there.
There's a lot of opportunity. It will make science better, not worse.
And when I say that our job is tech support, I really mean it.
Yeah.
We have to fix the computers. If the computers can't talk to each other, you can't get research done. If the computers can't stay online, people won't receive their Social Security. So what we have here are a bunch of failing computer systems that are preventing people from receiving their benefits, that are preventing people from preventing research from happening, that are extremely vulnerable to fraud, and we're fixing it.
And does that include AI? Does that include kind of changing the system overall? That's, I guess, what people are afraid of, is they don't know what this is all looking like, and is it going to affect me in the long term?
It's going to affect them. It's going to affect people very positively. So the changes that we're doing here will ensure the solvency of the American government, of the United States of America. This is what we're trying to do: is ensure that people do receive their benefits in the future. And you can only receive your benefits if the country is operating in a healthy and competent way.
Up next, how the DOGE team plans to streamline some federal jobs and agencies. And later, Elon Musk answers some of your questions that you asked via X. Anthony Armstrong, DOGE, Office of Personnel Management.
So again, if you're just tuning in, this is the DOGE interview with Brett Baer, Fox News. And I didn't even know this was happening. So I don't know if this was just dropped out of nowhere or if this was pre-announced. But we need more of this so that we can hear directly from them, because this destroys every single narrative out there about the DOGE team. Now, if they do take my idea up and have Joe Rogan and or Tucker Carlson help host a town hall for the team DOGE team, I will make one demand of Team DOGE. We need these guys along with Elon Musk, and I demand that Big Balls shows up. We got to have Big Balls. He is the superstar of DOGE. We need to know who Big Balls is. Big Balls has to show up.
Management, you're Morgan Stanley banker, M&A guy.
Yeah.
You know money, and this is a lot of money sloshing around.
There's a lot of money sloshing around. There's a lot of money sloshing out the door. And if you look at the federal government and the way the workforce works, it's really a one-way ratchet over decades. So
it's only going up.
It's only going up. You never take it away. So that leaves you with duplicative functions. It leaves you with overstaffing, and it leaves you with functions in the wrong places. So a couple of examples. Duplicative functions. Brad mentioned 27 CIOs. If you kept going with Brad, he would talk about the communications office. I think you've got 40 distinct communications offices in HHS, right? Yeah.
40?
Yeah, and that's not unusual, by the way. Multiple offices like that.
It's also not making anyone healthy.
This is not about the employees there. There's many hardworking, well-meaning people who took these jobs. These jobs.
I got this right here. Julie for 20 says, from someone in the wrestling business for 30 years, you have a lot of animosity for Hulk, yet I only hear you praising Flair, biggest loser in the business, and his horrible daughter, Charlotte. Well, first of all, I don't have animosity towards Hulk Hogan. I'm just speaking on the facts that Hulk Hogan is hated in the wrestling business. He just is. That's not animosity from my perspective. I think very highly of Hulk Hogan in terms of his place in wrestling history. He is, if he's not the GOAT, he's definitely in any GOAT conversation. So I don't have any animosity towards him, but the truth is he's very hated, and he was very manipulative in the business. And the way that his contracts, his creative clause in his contracts, if you watch enough of the dirt on wrestling as I have, you know how bad Hulk Hogan was behind the scenes. In terms of Ric Flair, I don't think anybody thinks Ric Flair is anything other than Ric Flair. And that's why Ric Flair doesn't put a different image out there. Ric Flair is the kiss stealing, jet flying, Space Mountain, oldest ride, longest line. He's a party animal. He's going to hook up with women. He's the nature boy. Like, that's just who he is. So he's never been anything other than who you see. But yeah, I love Hulk Hogan and I love Ric Flair for different reasons, but I don't have animosity towards Hogan at all. I just speak on the facts that he's very hated within the industry. He just is. Let me get back here. But thank you for the super chat. I appreciate it.
Are out there. They applied for them. They took them. They're doing what's there. It's just that they're duplicating the effort of 40 offices. So you've got that. You've got overstaffing. A good example of overstaffing would be the IRS has got 1,400 people who are dedicated to provisioning laptops and cell phones. So if you join the IRS, you get a laptop and a cell phone, you're provisioned. So if each of those IRS officers or employees provisioned 2 employees per day, you could provision the entire IRS in a little more than a month. So 12 times a year,
It doesn't make any sense. Why would you have 1,400 people whose only job it is to give out a laptop and a phone?
Right. The whole IRS could be handled once a month. So that doesn't make any sense. And President Trump's been very clear. It's scalpel, not hatchet, and that's the way it's getting done. And then once those decisions are made, there's a very heavy focus on being generous, being caring, being compassionate, and treating everyone with dignity and respect. And if you look at how people have started to leave the government, it is largely through voluntary means. There's voluntary early retirement, there's voluntary separation payments. We put in place deferred resignation, the 8-month severance program. So there's a very heavy bias towards programs that are long dated, that are generous, that allow people to exit and go and get a new job in the private sector. And you've heard a lot of news about rifts, about people getting fired. At this moment in time, less than 0.15, not 1.5, less than 0.15 of the federal workforce has actually been given a RIF notice. So
they're selected if they're leaving.
It is
basically almost no one's gotten fired. That's what we're saying.
Tom Kraus, working at Treasury, you are having access to the payment system, oversees all the outgoing payments. Essentially, those payments were going places we didn't know where they were going, right?
Yeah, unfortunately, that's the case, Brett. As an ex-CFO of a big public tech company, really what we're doing is we're applying public company.
I'm seeing a ton of wrestling discussion in the chat, which makes me happy. We are going to be covering WrestleMania in its entirety on Locals. We're also covering, Raw and SmackDown over there, and we will be watching the event with you. So if you want to just join our Locals, there you go. So just for supporters only over there, but we're covering sports. They're live right now over there, by the way. So we're watching movies over there. We're covering sports. We're covering wrestling, and we're going to be playing games. There's a ton of content right now for Locals. And that's the Geeks and Gamers Locals. There's been a ton of content, and we're going to continue. I think there's a good bang for your buck over there.
Standards to the federal government. And it is alarming how the financial operations and financial management is set up today. There is actually really only one bank account that's used to disperse all monies that go out of the federal government.
Time out. One bank account.
It's a big one.
It's a big one.
It's a big one.
It's a big one. A couple weeks ago, it had $800 billion in it, but it's the Treasury General account. So when you hear, some of my colleagues here, what they're talking about in terms of the fraud, you have to ask, well, why is this allowed to happen at a financial level? Well, it's actually quite simple but alarming. The Treasury, up until now, and thanks to President Trump, we're fixing this. In fact, there's an executive order that he just signed the other day, which is protecting America's bank account, because it really is the taxpayers' money. One, we're changing the culture. The culture is been not a lot of caring and not a lot of commitment to doing what's right relative to financial operations. There's a $500 billion of fraud every year. There's hundreds of billion dollars of improper payments, and we can't pass an audit. The consolidated financial report is produced by Treasury, and we cannot pass it on. We have material weaknesses. What that means is that if I was a public company CFO, I would effectively be removed. I couldn't file financial statements. I couldn't issue securities, which of course we depend on. Can't pass an audit.
Right. The federal government cannot pass an audit. It's impossible. In fact, in order to pass an audit, you need the information necessary to pass an audit. You need to have the payment codes, you need to have the payment explanation, and you need to have a person you can contact to understand why that payment was made. None of those things were mandatory until just recently, just a few weeks ago. In fact, maybe last week.
Yeah, we're serving 580 plus agencies. And up until very recently, effectively, they could say, make the payment, and Treasury just sent it out as fast as possible. No verification. And so what we're doing is what any household would do. But imagine you're a household, you have a bank account, everyone has an ATM card connected to that account, everyone has a checkbook connected to that account. It's not just your children, it's not just your parents, it's your in-laws, it's your extended family, and they all can go to the account and disperse funds. No questions asked, no justification, no verification.
Up next, the DOGE team targets government contracts, and we'll show you what they're finding.
I got to show you something real quick because it just hit my feed. There's a person in a Pikachu costume captured on video fleeing along with other protesters. So
no one ever was.
What do you
Watch them is my real test. To train them is my cause. I will travel across the land, searching wanna be the very best, like no one ever was. To catch them is my real test. To train them is my cause. I will travel across the land, searching far and wide.
I want to hear the Pokemon song now. I was not prepared to see that shit on my timeline, man. One more time. Holy shit.
I wanna be the very best, like no one ever was. To catch them is my real test. To train them is my cause. I will travel across the land, searching far and wide.
I don't know if I could find the Ryan Pokemon song, man. That's let's see. I got tears in my eyes, man. Let me see if I can find it. No, I don't think it's on one of our channels, but I have no idea where it's at. Here it is. All right. Cool. Is this it? Oh no, that's not it. Nope. I'm still looking for it. We have so many videos, but I can't find the one. If somebody got a link to Ryan singing the Pokemon song, it's pretty freaking great. But I can't find it. I thought I found it, but that's not it. No, can't find it. Anyway, okay, back to Elon and Doge. Here we go. I got tears in my eyes, man.
Interior Department.
God.
You're a former oil company CEO. You're reviewing contracts before they're approved for funding. What do you find?
Well, Elon and Steve kind of stole my thunder a little bit, but I actually found that customer service survey contract. I actually have an example of one right here. I could have done this in high school. And I found it.
That bad?
I found it on the weekends because under the Biden administration, there was no departmental oversight within the Department of Interior whatsoever. None. We are now reviewing every single contract, every single grant, and when things come to my attention that don't make sense, I'm bringing them to Secretary Burgum, and he's been fantastic. He's a businessman. He's very supportive of DOGE. It's been wonderful to work with him.
Is the battle between government of decades and decades of buildup and business, which you guys are, is that like a train hitting each other? I mean, it seems like it's pretty disruptive.
Well, this is a revolution, and I think it might be the biggest revolution in government since the original revolution. But at the end of the day, America is going to be in much better shape. America will be solvent. The critical programs that people depend upon will work, and it's going to be a fantastic future. But are we going to get a lot of complaints along the way? Absolutely. You know, one of the things I learned at PayPal was I just tweeted out that video. So if you guys want, you can go to my Twitter account. I tweeted it out. Are we going to get a lot of complaints along the way? Absolutely. You know, one of the things I learned at PayPal was who complains the loudest and with the most amount of fake righteous indignation? The fraudsters.
Yes.
It's a tell. This is NGOs that are crazy, like the $2 billion to Stacey Abrams' NGO that basically didn't exist and suddenly gets $2 billion awarded from the federal government. She has, why? And there are many such cases like that.
I think that most people, common sense wise, would say the fraud's got to end.
Yeah.
They're concerned about the 94-year-old mother who skips a check or somehow doesn't get what she's supposed to get.
Right. And what we're trying to say is actually that the 94-year-old grandmother is actually, as a result of DOGE's work, going to get her check. She's not going to be robbed by fraudsters like she's getting robbed today. And the solvency of the federal government will ensure that she continues to receive those Social Security checks, that Medicare continues to work, without which we're all doomed. The reason we're doing this is because if we don't do it, America's going to go insolvent. We're going to go bankrupt. and nobody's going to get anything.
Why are you guys all doing it? I mean, you can pipe up, but you don't have to be here, right? I mean, you don't have to be doing this.
I have blessed with 4 beautiful children, my wife and I. But we have a real fiscal crisis, and this is not sustainable. And what's worse, back to my children and everyone else's children, is we are burdening them with that debt. And it's only going to grow.
Steve, there's not a lot of hierarchy here. You guys are kind of all approaching it in different, silos, but with the same kind of goal, right? I mean, this is really Silicon Valley, private sector colliding with government.
Yeah, exactly. And we're headed in a bad path, but the chance of success exists. And just the one that.
No, I mean, this is people that have a vision in mind, and they're all putting aside their personal business to, for the betterment of the country. And that's what's made America so great and powerful for all of these years. And that's what these guys are doing. And we're all sick and tired of what we've seen in the past decade of what's been happening to this country. And in fact, we just got another announcement, another race swap for Disney is happening. So another race swap film is coming out. Here we go right there. So the Disney remake is underway. They took Elon with his Give My Heart Out to All of You. And there's your Disney remake right there. So Jasmine Crockett's the new Yahtzee, apparently. So there you go.
It just is in my head right now, which is a fairly mundane one, but I think is very illustrative, is credit cards. There are in the federal government around 4.6 million credit cards for around 2.3 to 2.4 million employees. This doesn't make sense.
Right.
And so one of the things all of the teams have worked on is we've worked with the agencies and said, do you need all of these credit cards? Are they being used? Can you tell us physically where they are?
I hope they're getting frequent flyers.
Actually, on a different note, the rewards program the federal government has is actually not very good. That's a whole other.
It's a negotiation.
Right. Yeah, exactly. But so far, the teams have worked together and they've reduced it from 4.6 million to 4.3 million. So
we're taking it easy. But clearly there should not be, more. There should not be more credit cards than there are people. Yeah.
Joe, middle-level employees, are they seeing a benefit to being empowered by taking out bureaucracy? I mean,
absolutely. I mean, I think what you're seeing is taking the best of Silicon Valley and the business world and bringing it into the government. We're bringing the best practices and the best methodologies, and people are inspired. Right, especially on the retirement process, which I can speak to. They've been trying to modernize and get off of paper since early 2000s, very unsuccessfully. Every attempt has gone over budget and been canceled because it hasn't been successful. And so, I showed up and I feel like I'm here because it's an interesting problem. We can use design to solve it and good engineering and really create a better experience for everybody.
We're talking about elementary financial controls that are necessary for any company to function. So, like, if the federal government, if a commercial company operated the way the federal government does, then it would be immediately go bankrupt. It would be delisted. The officers would be arrested. The changes we're putting in place will enable the federal government to pass an audit. It will enable taxpayers to know where the money is going and know that their hard-earned tax dollars are being spent well.
I mean, personally, do you know what I want based on what you have explained to us, Elon? No disrespect, obviously, to Elon or DOGE. I want to know that my tax dollars are going into my pocket, because you've already exposed the fact that our tax dollars have literally been stolen from us for our entire lifetime. So I would rather my tax dollars just go into my pocket. So that's the way I'm looking at it. But so is it me, or does the guy sitting on Elon Musk's left look like Lieutenant Commander Data? Maybe. Jeremy doesn't know who that is. The fuck are you talking about? I watched The Next Generation when I was growing up. My parents used to watch that every day. Once a week, we would get there. We'd get ready every night. Boom. Man, Next Generation was amazing. Dougie B for 50. Dougie B for 50. But yeah, Next Generation was awesome. That was must-see TV back in the day, man. So, Mod Lives Matter. Let's see. 4 p.m. CST 90s. Man, it was great. You feel old? Trust me, I do too, because I am old, very old. Thank you, Dougie B, for the 50. Did I get that one? Oh, sorry. I missed this one, Julie. In case you're wondering, my job was making costumes in WWE. I've seen most, all, and watched. Awesome job, but it bothers me when people praise those who don't deserve it. No, I totally respect that, and I appreciate it. Sorry I missed the follow-up on that. But no, I absolutely get it. And that's awesome that you've been in the industry for all that time. That's absolutely awesome. Sola Felix says 97 Starcade failed because Sting didn't tan. Yeah, that was a rough one right there, man. So let's see. Disinfected Scientist says literal rocket scientist here. We need one. Doge. Dark Meat Collins says imagine if Meta PC could get a government contract. Hey, if you have not, you can go over to metapcs.com. Use the promo code 199. Get yourself a computer, get yourself a laptop, get yourself some accessories. They would love to see you over there, and we would too. Promo code 199. Black Kane says, the funny thing is that these guys are the least autistic Doge guys they could round up to be on TV. That's true. Scott says, all hail big balls. Philip Butler says, Jeremy wants to see what big balls looks like. Damian J says, Charlotte Flair is the most, let's see. I think you meant most. Charlotte Flair is an overrated wrestler ever. Probably meant most overrated. Most overrated wrestler. I'm going to make some people mad. I think Roman Reigns is one of the most overrated wrestlers ever. I think Roman Reigns fucking sucks. Gerald Armstrong says, ugh, you got me, brother. Hogan to Taker. Grand Potato says, where's Krista at right now? How do we know it's not her? Jeremy the Gay says, why is Ryan at that protest? Joe Bitt says, former WWE utility hyped for Mania on 420 plus Easter. Hell yeah. Jey Uso is terrible, but Roman Reigns held the fucking championship for however long he did, and Roman Reigns sucks. He just sucks. He's not good on the mic. He's not good in the ring. He's not a top guy. He was forced down the audience's throat. He's not good. I don't like Roman Reigns at all. He's really bad on the mic. Jeremy the Cyborg says, hail the 199. Spartan 89 says, did you see Benny Johnson had Jasmine Crockett on this morning? Very interesting interview. Yes, I saw it. It was fine. I didn't know if he was actually going to have her on or not, but it was pretty funny. Lying Dog Face Pony Soldier with a gifted membership. Thank you. All right, let's continue on.
The ways that the government is defrauded is that the computer systems don't talk to each other. So if the computer systems don't talk to each other, then you can exploit that gap, and fraudsters exploit that gap, take advantage. If, for example, there were over $300 million of small business administration loans that has been given out to people under the age of 11.
Well, actually, to add to it, it's 300 million under the age of 11 and over 300 million to over the age of 120.
Definitely
small business loans.
Correct.
Yes. The oldest American is 114. So it's safe to say if their age is 115 or above, they're fake. Or they should be in the Guinness Book of World Records. And we should not be giving out loans to babies. So the youngest recipient of a small business administration loan is a 9-month-old, which is a very, very precocious baby we're talking about here. So obviously it was just fraudulent. And they do terrible things. They actually will see that a kid's been born. They will steal that kid's social security number and then take out a loan and leave that kid with a bad credit rating. There was literally a baby. The terrible things are being done is what we're saying.
And
And we're stopping these terrible things.
And you can stop it? I mean,
well, we are stopping
You are
it.
stopping. The reason this is
Absolutely.
happening is because the two systems are not talking to each other.
Yes.
Right. And so you don't know at the Small Business Administration that you're giving a loan to a 9-month-old, which happened in one case, because you're not cross-referencing that with the Social Security Administration data that has birth dates. So that very, very simple fix eliminates tremendous fraud. And that there are multiple systems across the government where the systems are not speaking with one another. And if you just solve that simple problem, you would solve a huge amount of fraud.
Are you surprised? So one of the ways that, like one of the key tricks that the fraudsters pull is that they will use the fact that someone is marked as live, and as sort of just that Social Security number is marked as live in Social Security, and then get disability and unemployment insurance for a dead person. Because the databases don't talk to each other, all they got was from Social Security is like, is this person alive? Yes, they're not alive. It's falsely marked. Person is falsely marked as alive in Social Security. But they didn't. But that person, a fraudster can now get unemployment and disability from a dead person. This is happening all the time at scale.
Are you surprised at some of the legal efforts and some of the judges that have weighed in? There's about 8 or 10 now of these cases that are at least temporary holds. They're being challenged by the DOJ.
Right.
Are you surprised by that pushback?
Well, it's the DC Circuit is notorious for having a very far left bias, and when you look at the people close to some of these judges, where are they working? Oh, they're working at these NGOs. Oh, they're the ones getting this money. Does that seem like a system that lacks corruption? It sounds like corruption to me.
Last thing, do you guys all see this as a patriotic duty? I mean, is that really what this is about?
It's essential.
Very much
I
so.
do, 100%. I was running 5 businesses in Houston, and I left that. I left great people to do this, and my wonderful wife said, "Go for it," and here I am. But I feel like this is me giving back to the country.
If we don't do this, we're sunk. The ship, unless this exercise is successful, the ship of America will sink. That's why we're doing it.
Well, gentlemen, I really appreciate the time today, and hopefully it took some of the myth and mystery out of DOGE and what's happening behind the scenes.
This was really good.
We asked on X, your platform.
So we'll listen to the Elon part here in just a minute, but this was great. And we needed to see this, and not for me, not for you, but for the general people out there. Hearing directly from the people that are at the forefront of DOGE is important. And we need to see more of that. And I would love to see a town hall that gets a ton of, build up, and it's covered, and YouTubers and Twitch streamers and Rumble people can react to it. That would be great. That would be great. We don't want to do Elon like that. I'll back it up. Eric K says the Shockmaster is underrated. Julie says, I didn't need to read about the dirt. I could witness it. I had friends, and it always bothers me when people seem to know stuff because of the dirt sheets. The most hated are usually the best people. That's all. Well, when I say dirt, I don't mean I read the dirt sheets. I mean, I watched a ton of shoot interviews. I also did promote wrestling shows back in the day, localized stuff. And worked with some of the local wrestlers and things like that. And I was the promoter, and I did play a character in some of the shows. But I hear you on that. Solid Felix says Mount Rushmore of wrestling: Hogan, Flair, Taker, Austin. I always struggle with the fourth person on this list. Austin, Hogan, and Flair they're locked in. You're not going to convince me that Austin, Hogan, and Flair are not on the Mount Rushmore. You cannot convince me otherwise. I refuse any respect your opinion bullshit. It's Austin, it's Hogan, and it's Flair. Then it's the fourth that I struggle with a lot, because there's about 10 names that I could use for that fourth spot. It could be Shawn Michaels. It could be The Rock. It could be Bret Hart. It could be the Macho Man, it could be the Undertaker. There's just so many people that you could throw in there. It's really difficult. It's really difficult. So the thing I say about Taker is Taker never carried the company. He was never the guy. He was never the number one guy for a consistent amount of time that carried the company. That's the only knock against Taker. So I don't know. That we're going to have our wrestling debate stream one of these days, and you will hear my official fourth. Sting is a great one. Sting is a really strong case for Mount Rushmore for sure. Andre is a strong case. Force Geek says Brett Baer acts like Doge is going to catch him. Let's see. Dustin says Roman and Jay are overrated. CM Punk is the most overrated wrestler ever, and I'm tired of people pretending he's not. Well, I disagree completely. And I think CM Punk is going to be, I would put CM Punk in the top 20 of all time. I would tell you to go watch his Money in the Bank match with Cena. I would tell you to go watch his SummerSlam match with Brock Lesnar. I would tell you to watch his Undertaker WrestleMania match. And he 100% was the best person in all of those matches. He's the reason. His mic skills are top 10 all time, maybe top 5 all time. So I would disagree with that. And I think Jey Uso sucks. Jey Uso is garbage. And Roman is better than Jey Uso, but they both are overrated as hell. For 50, says the people that need to see this Doge interview the most are unfortunately not going to watch. That is true, Jeffrey Jackson. That is very true. But there are people that will be caught in the middle that will be seeing these things. This is how the Joe Rogans of the world and the Tucker Carlsons of the world, they have an audience that are people that are kind of in the middle. And so, that right there is where I think that there is gains to be made from that perspective. Let's listen to this Elon stuff, and I'll get. Oh, Julie says, and sorry, been a silent watcher for years, but I just wanted to speak out and give a little back. Julie, I appreciate it greatly. I appreciate it, and I appreciate your insight. And I think it's cool as hell that you worked in the industry. And if you have any tidbits of information, you're welcome to email me on my public email. Not you, Julie. But you're welcome to email me on my public email, and I would love to hear if you're willing to share any information. You obviously have no obligation whatsoever. But thank you so much for your insight.
What's happening behind the scenes?
Thank you.
We asked on X, your platform, for some questions. And here is C. Sperling. He writes, are they happy with the speed at which they're making changes? Are there any changes they would like to make but haven't yet?
Well, I think in the context of the government, we're moving like lightning. In the context of what I'm used to moving, it's slower than I'd like. What seems like incredibly fast action by government standards is it's slower than I'd like, to be totally frank. But we're all making solid progress. A very sort of thorny problem, a tough problem, really it's kind of like painful homework, frankly, is reconciling all of the government databases to eliminate the waste and fraud. These databases don't talk to each other, and that's really the source of that's the biggest vulnerability for fraud, is the fact that these databases don't talk to each other. So we need to reconcile the databases. It's a frankly painful homework, but it has to be done, and will greatly improve the efficiency of the government systems.
We didn't talk about any plans to approach cuts at the Pentagon. You're in there.
The Pentagon has not passed an audit in a very long time. I mean, as crazy as it sounds, they will lose $20–30 billion a year, and they don't know where. They literally don't know where it went. I mean, Senator Collins was telling me about how she gave the Navy $12 billion for extra submarines, got 0 extra submarines, and then when she held a hearing, said, "Where'd the $12 billion go?" They didn't.
Does he have little X there with him? Like, it's fantastic that Elon has his kid everywhere he goes. As he's like saving the country, and Elon has his kid. That's pretty freaking great.
No.
Talking to those guys, and you have a great team from all over the country. You don't have to be here. You don't have to be here. there's now been these many cases of violence and vandalism at Tesla dealerships. How does that affect your employees, your customers? What does it mean to you? Like, how have you taken that in?
Well, I think a great wrong is being done to the people of Tesla and to our customers. Tesla is a peaceful company that has made great cars, great products. That's all it's done. Hasn't harmed anyone. And yet people are committing violence. They're firebombing Tesla dealerships. They're shooting guns into stores. They're threatening people. They're issuing death threats against me and other Tesla personnel. What are they doing this for? Why? And what's happening, it seems to me, is they're being fed propaganda by the far left. And they believe it. It's really unfortunate. But the real problem is not the people. It's not like the crazy guy that firebombs a Tesla dealership. It's the people pushing the propaganda that caused that guy to do it. Those are the real villains here, and we're going to go after them. And the president's made it clear we're going to go after them. The ones providing the money, the ones pushing the lies and propaganda, we're going after them. But yeah, I mean,
personally, it's got to take a toll.
It does.
Yeah,
it does. I think there's some real evil out there, and we have to overcome it.
I mean, you have been called a Nazi, a white supremacist, a fascist.
I mean, they've got the sort of their
just to
normal
name
playbook.
a few. Yeah.
I mean, they've still got it. They haven't. I guess they still need to call me Stalin, Mussolini, whatever, Genghis Khan, or whatever. I mean, they've called the president all these things. I think at one point there was a magazine cover which said the president was worse than President Trump was worse than Hitler, Mussolini, and Stalin combined. And the president hasn't killed anyone. He hasn't started any wars. In fact, he's good at stopping wars.
John frickin' Murdoch.
So this is obviously they're pushing these lies. And why do they push these lies? And I think that we need to hold people responsible for pushing these lies, because those lies almost got the president killed.
What's something that people wouldn't know about the president? You're pretty close to him now. You spend a lot of time with him. What's something that people wouldn't know?
I think the president is a good man. I think he is an honest man, and I've yet to see him do anything mean or anything that is wrong, that I would say morally wrong. Not even once.
You know, a lot is coming your way, but sometimes you say stuff or post stuff that gets attention. You give it out, in other words. Democratic Arizona Senator Mark Kelly posted on X about his trip to Ukraine to push for continuing to send U.S. weapons and support there.
This is a good part we heard
and you
earlier.
posted that he was a traitor. Well, why do that?
Well, I think somebody should care about the interests of the United States above the interests of another country. And if they don't, they're a traitor.
Yeah, but he's a decorated veteran, a former astronaut, a sitting U.S. senator.
So if he commits a crime, are we supposed to just forget the crime? Oh well, he's a decorated this. So who cares if he commits a crime, right?
It doesn't mean it's okay for him to put the interests of another country above America.
Obviously, there are some Republicans who think supporting Ukraine is the right thing still, but there is a battle back and forth about how do you think it comes to an end?
Well, I think there will be a negotiated peace. And the thing that we should be concerned about is we should have empathy for the thousands of people that are dying every day in trenches for no movement in the lines. So the borders remain the same. For the past 2 years, thousands of people have died every week for nothing. For what? And I take great offense at those who put the appearance of goodness over the reality of it. Those who virtue signal and say, oh, we can't give in to Russia, but have no solution to stopping thousands of kids dying every day.
Yes.
They just want that to continue forever. I have contempt for such people. I don't want to make that clear.
Yeah. So you're
because
optimistic.
because they're virtue signaling, and their lack of a solution means that kids don't have a father. It means that parents lost a son. For what?
That's the way you end the interview right there. Freaking perfect. This was an awesome interview for Elon Musk. It was an awesome interview for DOGE, and it was an awesome interview for the United States of America. So I loved this interview, loved everything about it. John freaking Murdoch for 50 says, hey, Jeremy, I like you and would never want to work for you. Hail the DOGE Dream Team. Hail the 199. Hail Trump 2025. Let's go, John freaking Murdoch. Let's go. Thank you so much. Eric says, I'd love to work for you, Jeremy. I've never had a gay boss before. Joe Bitt says, guilt trip. Roman Reigns is active while in leukemia remission. He has to take oral chemo for life. My champion, the OTC. Yeah, listen, I respect Roman Reigns from that perspective, but he's still not a great wrestler. He's just not. He's not great on the mic. He's not great in the ring. And no one's clamoring for Roman Reigns. They're just not. He's a good he's a good like secondary guy, but he's not the guy. Never has been. Pearl Cap says Shawn Michaels and Bret Hart were never draws. I agree. They were the top guy for a short period of time, but they were never the draw like a Stone Cold Steve Austin or a Hulk Hogan or a Ric Flair or even a John Cena for that matter. So I do agree with you on that. Force Geek says, well, that was awkward. It was intentionally so. Chris Gonzalez says refund his money. Got Ariel says the Ultimate Warrior is the Max Wrestling is number 4. Warrior is like, I love the Ultimate Warrior back in the day, but Warrior was not he was not good as a wrestler. He was a great gimmick for he could have been an all-timer, but he was too crazy. Southeastern Kaiju says Benedict Arnold was also a decorated hero too. That's right. And we are at the end, and I'm going to hop over on locals now with our locals crew because they're over there hanging out. Let's see who's on that right now. Let's see. So right now it's Beardo, Tommy, and Jed are over there. I'm going to hop over there and hang out with them for a bit. Checking out the first day of baseball. And should be good. So Fantastic Snock says, you're too much of a fig for me to want to work for you, but here, take my Australian funny money. True North says it was 40 chess. Elon wanted the intelligent brain for Neuralink, something the left doesn't have. And Solifila says Andre, great fourth option. He was the guy before Hogan. I can't disagree with that one. Okay, so if you guys want to come hang out with me, I'm going to be right here. As you can see, we got peeps over on locals right now, so I'm gonna pop over there for a bit. I got videos to make, stuff like that. I appreciate all of you guys and gals. Hail to the 199. Thank you for the support. Thank you for the super chats, for the gifted memberships, and just for being awesome as you always are. So thank you guys so much. I do appreciate it. Have a great day, and we will talk to all of you a little bit later. Bye, everyone.